Hey everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm on a new microphone. In fact, you know what? Let me grab my headphones just so I can make sure it sounds okay. All right, let's take a look. Avatar World, yes. Using standalone or full install. In this case, I'm just using a portable version of Comfy. Didn't have to install it, which is nice. Let's see here. Okay. Is this the live to learn about the dark web? No, not this one. No, I do not edit videos while I'm high, although maybe I should. It's like you're slowly walking backwards to the forest. Yes. Indeed. All right. Welcome, everyone. Sorry I'm a little late today. I had to finish making lunch. Lunch was a priority, but so are you guys, so here I am now. And today, I'm just going to be walking you through some more Comfy UI stuff. We're going to be making some fun little experiments. Also planning on checking out Runway's new image to video feature that they just introduced today. Everyone's talking about in the AI community. Unfortunately, it's still 16:9 ratio, which is not ideal for social media, but still going to be a lot of fun, I think. So, love to see some light and happy videos. Yes, always. Some are too scary. No, I feel you. Scary is probably like my favorite thing to go for, so that will not be going anywhere, but I'll certainly intersperse it with some happier stuff here and there. What was for lunch? Steak and eggs, which I'm still munching on now, so you'll have to excuse me. Okay. So let's see. I'm just deciding which workflow to go with, to play around with today. I think I'll go with a slightly different one than what we're used to. Normally we do the 4-way morph, which is fun and great, and I use it most of the time, but I also have a really fun one that entails different, it also takes 4 image inputs like the other workflow, but instead of morphing them, it kind of mashes all 4 of them together into its own unique, like, Frankenstein monster thing. Just kind of like a intelligent, I guess, yeah, mashup of the 4 images into something weird. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of possibility there. So here it is. Here's the workflow. And I'm going to start just plugging in random stuff, honestly, random images from my references folder. What music is playing? This right now is just like some default background tunes from Restream. One of the nice things about Restream is they have like a built-in radio kind of with various stations. And it might be like AI music. Actually, it literally says music AI, so I assume it's something close to like Suno or Udio, but yeah, just something nice in the background, something that won't get copyright stricken, which is always nice. Can you imagine though, one day we start copyright striking AI music? That would just be another level. That would be crazy, but it's probably coming. So I'm going to start plugging in 4 disparate images into my inputs here to see what we can create. Is this Comfy UI and Anime Diff? Correct. Yes, this is those things. Yes. Killer memes, bro. Thanks. Okay. And some of my most like spectacular monstrosities kind of come out of playing with dark imagery with like light imagery, really. Like, for example, maybe I'll bring this pretty picture of an ocean beach here. So like we'll have some like gross stuff here, gross stuff kind of there. Yeah, just kind of walking the line between beautiful and ugly is always a fun place to operate. And we're going to see what it does today. And we'll do this too. Isn't that pretty? It's like a weird emerald insectoid thingy. Do I have tutorials how to install? No, not at the moment, but I'm happy to announce, and this is kind of a soft announcement. Haven't really spread the message too far yet, but I am working on a tutorial of sorts, or a course that you can kind of follow, and hopefully, if all goes well, get up to a level of what I'm doing with the morphing. It's particularly like the 4-way image morphs, kind of what I'm, I guess, most known for here on Instagram. It won't be like a full comprehensive comfy UI breakdown, although I will cover some of the basics. It will mostly be directed towards the morphing videos, 8 to 10 second morphs. So yeah, that should be out hopefully in the not too distant future, maybe a month or two. I really want to give it some solid effort. I don't want to rush on it, but you can expect that in the coming months, I would say. Until then, though, tune into my live streams, and you'll get a little bite of the action, so to speak. You'll get a little glimpse. So I think we have 4 images that I'm happy with, and for that reason, we're going to start animating it. I'm going to set it at a pretty reasonable resolution. For brevity's sake, it's going to be 320 by 560. Poppy Munda, hello, how are you? How you doing? 320 by 560. We're going to go with Stable Yogi LCM. Yes, Stable Yogi, Realism by Stable Yogi. Very, very good model. Highly recommended. And I'm actually not going to go with a video input for now. Normally I use like a video reference and then paint over it, kind of adopt its contours and motion. But today I'm just going to use a motion blur, or at least for this generation. We'll see about the next one. But going to turn off some control nets because they're not needed. Going to make sure we have a frame load cap so it doesn't create too many frames. I'm going to keep it at like 96. 96 is a decent amount of frames. It scared your step kids. I'm sorry. I am I'm sorry that it had that effect, but I appreciate the creativity remark. Thank you. I really do try and stretch my imagination. Okay, so let's do it from here. Actually, I think this should be a solid generation. Let's give it a shot. Cue prompt, which you can't really see, can you? It's I'm noticing on stream it doesn't really show my full monitor. Oh, we got an error message. What is... Goodness, what is that? It's so long I can't even read it. Well, let's explore why that might be. Why are we getting an error message? And I think the reason is because, well, even without reading the error message, I can start by examining the active node. You'll notice by these like borders, like nodes will receive these like colored borders, green, purple. Green typically confers that it's like the active node in the rendering process, so you can kind of follow along and see where you are in the journey based on which node is highlighted in green. In this case, this one's highlighted in purple, but in any case, I think it's trying to tell me that there was an error here, which is why it won't run my render. And I think it has to do with the video that's in the path. Like it can't read the video file, even though we're not going to use a video, it still wants something there. So I'm just going to replace it with any old video, to be honest with you, just so it has something valid. Let's just paste this path in. Whoops. I'll do this. And now we should be good on the errors. Let's take a look and see. Actually, let's change this to 1. Okay. My imagination is your nightmare is perfect. I live to serve. On a high quality trip, you love watching my stuff. Right on. Good to hear, Blake. Thank you. All right, and as you can see, our error message has disappeared, thankfully. Thank goodness. And because of that, we're going to get to the meat of it, which is where the K sampler, without going into too much detail about it, is basically where all the action happens in your rendering process. It's where all the frames are compiled and reasoned about, synthesized, whatever. And you can even see a preview of it as it's working. It starts out real grainy and low resolution, starts coming to life, and you can also see its progress based on this green bar up here. By the time it reaches the far right end, we will be done, and we will see the result, which should be interesting. I kind of like what I see so far right here. You know what we didn't set? We didn't set the motion lure, which was the whole idea of not using a video input. Although, you know what? It's already set from last time. That's good. What I'm using today is like a zooming motion lure. Motion lures are basically, they add various kinds of motion to your video, as the name suggests. And there's ones like zoom in, zoom out, pan left, pan right, kind of basic camera movements to make your videos a little more interesting. But it looks like we are finished with our first generation of the day. And take a look, my friends. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Sorry, I was not ignoring you guys, just taking a bite of food. Let's see what you guys are asking here. Bahal asks, how are you? I'm doing well. How are you? Swapnil, which app is this? This is Comfy UI. Comfy UI, as in user interface. Do I upscale? Ruben asks, do I upscale or enhance my videos? Or quality given from Animate Diff? Well, both. You know, I really hone in on the details that Animate Diff can provide, but I definitely do upscale the heck out of my videos after the fact. This video that you see here is really just the first step in this workflow. As you can probably tell, it's very low resolution, very low frame rate. And to address that, I have more nodes in this workflow that will upscale. They're currently turned off, which you can tell because they're purple. But once I turn them on, and if I were to run the cue the prompt again, it would start upscaling the video that you see. And I can also frame interpolate it from here, bump it up to 60 frames a second. But sometimes I just do that in Topaz AI. Can we use the software or AI, whatever it says? You absolutely can. It's called Comfy UI, and it's an open source program, which means it's completely free. It's community driven. And really the only barrier to entry is your own computer, your own hardware. And so you want to make sure that you're not skimping on the details there. But as far as software, all of this is completely free and accessible. Join the session late. Love your work. What software? Hey, nice to see you, Dory. The software package, well, the program that I'm using is called Comfy UI. And I use a bunch of different other programs to finalize my work, polish off the details. But the main meat of it all, to, you know, make the first pass on the actual creative of the video, is made inside of Comfy UI. And that's based on Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion is like the AI model that undergirds it, that allows for the image and the videos to be created. Typically, it's just image generation. Prior to this whole video thing, Comfy was mainly just for like Stable Diffusion images. And in the recent past, although not so recent anymore, they've introduced a new model called Animate Diff, which expands Stable Diffusion to include video now, which is really a lot of fun. Topaz is expensive. I agree. Did I? No, I didn't hack it. I bought it. I forked up the money. Fortunately, it's only a one-time cost. So It's not like one of these subscription models that you see everywhere. Although I believe if you want like the newer versions, I believe it comes with a year's worth of like updates, and then after that first year, you have to like renew or pay another price to keep getting updates. But the software itself will like forever be free on your system, even if you lose access to those free updates. Kind of unfortunate, but hey, it's better than nothing. Better than a lot of models, honestly. How do I upskill more? Well, I take a couple different steps to upskill my work. Usually, or well, not just usually, always, I will upskill in Comfy to start. Topaz AI is kind of like the last step of my process. When I've pretty much upskilled it to a point I'm already really happy with inside of Comfy, then and only then will I pop it into Topaz. And I find that Topaz isn't so amazing at like hallucinating new details from lower res footage. It's more so good at like sharpening existing footage that's already pretty high res. And so I'll just use it to polish off the details and kind of like make sure it's as sharp as it can be for upload. But as far as like the real uploading work, like where it truly hallucinates new details during the upscale, Comfy is where you got to do that, and it has a lot of built-in nodes that will allow you to do that. Upscale latent by, this is a pretty commonly used one. There's a lot of other nodes in this little family of nodes here that are not essential to the whole upscaling process. They are more, just in a nutshell, they're more for like maintaining the structure of my low res video. Like sometimes during the upscale, the AI will hallucinate like new eyeballs and new like features and places where they shouldn't be. That's what I have a lot of these extra nodes here for, is that they will help maintain the stability. But they're not essential. Really, you can just get by using this upscale latent by, and then outputting it to a K sampler, and then to a video combine, in a nutshell. What did I pay? Can I create a story with it? With a single character with a video long 3 to 5. Can I create a story with like in Comfy UI? Well, 3 to 5 minutes is actually a pretty lengthy. So if you're looking to make something that long that's like an uninterrupted sequence, just like from start to end, that would be very bordering on impossible in Comfy UI. Like you really have a finite amount of frames that you can work with before it really starts giving you issues. I like to keep it anywhere between 96 to like 160 frames at the very most. And then if I want to extend the length of that sequence, I will basically just slow it down, like 2x, 3x slowdown. But you can certainly do stories. You can do like, longer form videos. They would just have to be split into separate sequences, like 10 seconds per sequence or something. But no, a 3 to 5 minute interrupted, like one long interrupted loop, that would be amazing, but it's just too much for Comfy to handle. Miscellany work. Do I do this full time? Have a regular daytime job? This has fortunately become my regular daytime job. Well, not the streaming per se, but just working with clients and doing AI videos for them, which has been a lot of fun. A lot of different kinds of ideas. And yeah, no, but prior to all this AI stuff, I was in web development and graphic design. For like the last 15 or so years, I was a web developer. And I guess I still am, but I'm really making a hard push now to make this into my full-time career. And so I'm at the moment taking a very big risk to make this into my full-time thing, but it does seem to be working so far. So I'm just going to keep, hitting away at it until it just keeps growing, because this is what I love to do a lot more than the stuff I was doing before. What software do I use to create these images? The images, well, for this workflow, I can't exactly remember where I got all of these for images, but I have an ever-growing folder of image references in my reference folder. Most of them I just kind of whip together in Midjourney. I use Midjourney for a lot of different stuff. And the vast majority of these come from Midjourney, maybe one or two here and there. Like, for example, like this is like one of my old drawings. So this is not Midjourney. So you'll see some of these in my folder, but largely it's like a bunch of Midjourney stuff. And yeah. I heart cooking. Oh, thank you so much. I certainly will not stop anytime soon. Can I advise on finding customers? The best advice I can really give, and just speaking from my own experience, is keep growing your Instagram, because by far that is where I have received all of my, or most of my, contacts and clients, and just the networking opportunities here on Instagram as an artist for me has just been unrivaled. It's been an amazing journey. So just keep focusing on growing that Instagram as best as you can. Post as often as you can. I would encourage you to at least post once or twice a day. Like, if you really want to take this seriously, then don't miss a single day of posting. And, share other people's work to your story, get engaged, even reach out to bigger creators, maybe about a collaboration. That's a really good way of growing. You'll find there's a lot of people who are supportive in this community, a lot of bigger accounts, especially when I was getting started. A lot of bigger accounts were really helpful and instrumental in my growth. So I'm just super grateful about that. What's your render resolution? How do you upload them to IG without losing quality? Well, I start off my renders at a pretty small resolution, as you can see here. And typically I'll either do 320 by 560 or I'll do 512 by 768. Those are kind of my two sweet spot resolutions to start with. And then from there, I will upscale multiple passes, like multiple times, using Comfy and then using Topaz. Like, there's a lot of polishing that goes into these initial generations. Use Comfy to control and animate diff IP. Thanks to Purse, amazing channel. Yes, Purse is incredible. His channel is so good, and I've learned so much from him. Can I show quickly my workflow? I certainly can. I can give kind of a quick little bird's eye, without really explaining all the ins and outs. I will certainly walk you through it to a degree. And by the way, that's another good opportunity to mention, I am working on a course, you guys, a tutorial of some kind, where I will be trying my best to walk you through like the installation of Comfy, how to get up to a level of proficiency where you can start doing morphing loops like I do. It won't be like a full breakdown of Comfy, but it will cover some of the basics and the basic principles. The main goal of the course will be to take you to a level where you can specifically make these kinds of videos, because Comfy can do so many different kinds of things. It wouldn't make sense to explain everything, but I'll just keep it pretty focused on like what I do. But in any event, that's just kind of an aside. So as far as my workflow, I have a few different workflows. This is kind of a less common one that you're seeing today, not one that I normally put on stream. But what this one specializes in, and I got to give a big shout out to JBoogs on Instagram and Civitai, were really, I think, yeah, Tyler, he made this workflow, or at least adapted it, and then I adapted it further. But kind of just building off the backs of giants here. And basically the idea of this workflow is to take 4 input images and just mash them together stylistically to create, well, to create what you see right here. This video is basically a perfectly balanced amalgamation of all 4 of these images. And it's, as you can imagine, there's like infinite possibilities with mixing and matching images. It's just so much fun. And but like with any workflow with Animate Diff, it starts with the model. You want to load the model in. That's performed here in the efficient loader. You want to choose a good model. And from there, it kind of outputs the model into other places where it needs to go, like the IP adapter, as well as Animate Diff. Wait, yes, that's correct. Some of these are kind of like organized in a slightly unusual fashion, but basically the idea is you load the model, it outputs to other nodes like the IP adapter. The IP adapter is mainly responsible for looking at images and writing prompts, or coming up with prompts of its own based on these images with varying levels of accuracy, and that can be controlled with the weight of it. Currently it's set to 1.5, but controls like that will like determine how much of this image shines through in the final result. So it's like basically model is loaded in, gets transmitted out to the IP adapter, also gets transmitted out to the control nets, which are mainly responsible for reading video inputs and then painting over the video inputs. It's kind of how people make these dancing videos you're seeing on Instagram. They're using control nets to identify the movements and the structural, the bones and whatnot, of the dancers, and so that it can paint over them accurately. If I'm talking too fast, I'm sorry. I'm trying to balance like comprehensiveness with also the fact that my stream is limited in time here. So, can I suggest a best AI to create an image by giving the command in text? Best AI to create an image. Yeah, there's different ones for different use cases. It's hard to like say any one is the very best. I'd say like Midjourney is probably my all-around favorite, and it's definitely the most visually pleasing one from my perspective. Like Midjourney makes the most pretty, like artistic looking results. And these are some of my recent ones here in Discord. But different AI platforms are good for different things. Like ideogram.ai, I use frequently for text generation and logos. It's very reliable and consistent for logos and text generation and getting the text just right. And something like DALL-E 3 with ChatGPT is not quite as beautiful as Midjourney, although maybe it's improved in recent times. I don't use it much, but I think what its strong suit is the fact that you can just talk to ChatGPT like an employee. You can basically make an image with it, and then if you don't like something about it, you can verbalize it. You can be like, I don't like this thing here. Can you change that? But everything else looks good. And the DALL-E is fun because it's basically like having your own in-house graphic designer, and you can just talk to it naturally. But for all around most beautiful results, I would recommend Midjourney. It's very, very good. Can Touch Designer provide similar output? I believe that it can. I don't know enough about Touch Designer, unfortunately. I know enough to do some like basic audio reactive stuff, and I believe it does have stable diffusion support. I just don't know. I don't think that it's as capable of Comfy UI. I'll just put that out there. I don't have like full proof of that, but I get the sense that Comfy is really the program to learn if you want to do what I do. Any 3D morphing? Not in the sense that I use. So Dory asks, any 3D morphing in my work? Not in the sense that I use any 3D software like Blender or Maya or anything like that. Any 3D elements that you see are basically just the result of my Comfy workflow. And this is definitely kind of 3D in a sense, but that's more the credit for that more so goes to like the model that I'm using, sometimes the video input that I'm using. And but yes, no 3D software is actually used in this. I would like to incorporate that eventually. I'd really like to get good at Blender. It's kind of on my list. Ooh, I'm talking fast. I need some water, guys. All right. Oh yeah, the question about uploading without losing quality. I glossed over that. Yeah, David asks, how do we upload to Instagram without losing quality? Well, right before uploading, so the final file that I have that I'm going to be putting onto Instagram, I like to get it as high resolution as I possibly can. So I'll bump it up to like a proper 4K resolution, full 60 frames per second. I also like using ProRes as the I guess the codec or the file type, but as opposed to like MP4. I would encourage you to do like ProRes lossless if you can. I think the main thing to keep in mind is when you upload a 4K file to Instagram, it will downscale to 1080p because I think that's all that Instagram supports. But even that being said, you can still get some extra detail in by uploading at 4K as opposed to just uploading a 1080p file. I have found that even though it ends up downscaling to 1080p, my 4K videos still end up looking a little sharper to my eyes than it would if I just uploaded a standard 1080. So I would encourage you to go as big as you can with the file itself. Like bump it up to look as pretty as you want it to look, and then let Instagram downscale it, as opposed to serving Instagram a strictly 1080p file. I hope that makes sense. Let me catch up a little bit here, you guys, with the questions. Greetings from Mexico City. Thank you, Alexis. Nice to meet you. Love and appreciate your knowledge. Oh, you're so welcome. Reels by McCool. My pleasure. Using LCM as base model. For this one, yes, I am using LCM. That isn't always the case, but for this workflow, I have opted to use LCM. For some of my later morphing videos that you see on my page, I'm actually not using LCM because I kind of prefer the visual like the style of it, the way that it moves. It's slightly different, but I go back and forth. How do you upload to Instagram without losing quality? I hope that I answered that. Who are your customers? What they ask you to make? They ask me to make all kinds of stuff, dude. Like just anything from music videos to 5 to 10-second loops. Sometimes I'll like morph faces. Other times I'll morph just my usual fare of like macabre elements, like gothic stuff, all kinds of different things. People have many different kinds of needs, but it's mainly in the realm of what you see here, as far as like the 5 to 10-second long looping animation, either in portrait or landscape. But occasionally I will get like a longer 3 to 4 minute music video project, which is always fun. I didn't completely understand how ControlNet. Didn't understand how ControlNet, the depth map mask. Can you explain a bit? I can do my best to explain ControlNet a little bit better. So in a nutshell, there's a bunch of different kinds of control nets, and their main function, at least in my workflow, and maybe just in general, is to read a video input like the one you see here, and basically identify its like motion, its contours. I think the best way I could really demonstrate this is by like basically showing a side by side. So let me get a render going while I'm explaining this. Just bear with me for a second because I think it will go far and really conveying the message I'm trying to tell. Let me turn on one of my control nets and I will explain what's going on in a second. Because when you see it in action and like what it's capable of, that will do a lot of the talking for me. Let's turn that on. 0.85 should be good. And we're just gonna run the same render, but this time with control net on. And let's let that go. So in the meantime, is it going? Yes, it's going. Yeah. So okay. So basically, it's responsible for like outlining the contours of the video or identifying like the motion of it. Like you see this like rotating vortex looking thing. These aspects will bleed through into the video once it's rendered out in a minute or two, and you're going to see that. But that's what the control net lets you do. And a more like obvious example would be in like all these dancing videos that you're seeing, like the AI dancers. What's going on there is the artists are using control nets to outline the dancer. Like they basically find a video off TikTok or something, paste it in here, this box right here, and the control net will just like outline the motions of the dancer. And then once it gets that data, it will paint over it in a sense with your prompt, with the images that you see here, or your text prompt, however you want to prompt it, it will paint over it in that way. Oh, you know what? I gotta change the seed. It didn't render. Okay, that should do. Okay. So in just a couple minutes here, the video on the left will update and you're going to see something that somewhat resembles the one on the right. And I think that should give you a better idea of what it's actually doing. But like I was saying a few minutes ago, there's different kinds of control nets that are good for different things. Like for this one, I used a depth map control net, which, as the name suggests, is good at getting a depth map from your input. And it doesn't have to be a black and white video, by the way. It can be any video, and it will derive a depth map from that, and it will paint over that depth map, essentially. There's also a line art control net, and what that does is instead of getting a depth map, it will generate like lines of the contours of the image. And it's a little easier to see if I were to generate a preview. Maybe I'll do that in a bit. But the general idea, oh, and then there's the open pose control net, which is way better for like dancers and outlining humans and people moving around with limbs and stuff. So it depends on your use case, whichever control net you want to be using. And the more that you use it, the more comfortable you get with like knowing about control nets. Like, oh, this one is good for this one. This is good for this use case. And it just becomes a little more intuitive the more that you use it. Eskatron, yes, I believe these are getting backed up automatically on my YouTube because I'm currently multicasting over to there as well. I believe that's true. Let me double check on that. But if you navigate over to AI is Cursed, this is my YouTube channel. Just search like AI is Cursed on the search. Hopefully that should be the first result. Okay, it's not the first result, but just in your search bar, do @AI is Cursed. You should find it. Anyways, there's a live tab here. And if you tap that, you will see some of my previous lives, including today's. So hopefully that helps. Control is crucial for the morphing. It absolutely is, but it isn't necessary. Like again, what you see in this first video that I made, this was not using a control net. This was using other alternatives to guide the motion, using something called a motion LoRa. And like I was explaining earlier, there's different LoRa's for like zooming in, zooming out, panning left, panning right. This is useful. And by the way, this can be used in conjunction with the control net. You can mix and match them and combine them. But no, for that first video, I did not need to use a motion LoRa because I wasn't using a reference video. I was just letting the AI dream up its own thing in other ways. But with all that being said, let's now focus our attention to our new video, which hopefully will do a very good job in conveying what these control nets are so good at, and that is painting over existing videos, you know, with whatever your styling preferences are. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Obviously, as you can imagine, there's endless possibilities. Billis, for the first render, control net was not on. That is correct. For the first one, I didn't use any control nets. Madeira, hey, nice to have you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm basically just walking people through AI video creation, specifically open source AI video. So these are like freely available tools that you can download at your leisure. They don't cost any money, although you will need a pretty good computer to run a lot of this, especially the video stuff. Christian Nielsen, JBoogX workflow. Yes, and it definitely is based on one of his workflows, and I shouted him out earlier. I've definitely expanded its functionality a little bit versus like the base version that he's put out, but it's largely based on what he created, and I'm super grateful for him for that. You can find it on Civitai, I believe. I believe it's still somewhere up there. Civitai, JBoogX. Hopefully it's one of the first ones that comes up. Okay, JBoog machine learner, animate def workflow, vid to vid. I think this is it. Yes. Okay, good. First try. So I wish I could paste links in chat that I don't think I can. But if you go to Civitai, or easier than that even, if you just Google Civitai JBoogX, should be this first one. It says JBoog and machine learner animate diff workflow vid to vid control net. You should be able to track it down, and it's just a JSON file. Workflows in Comfy are basically just JSON files, and you just drag and drop them into Comfy to open it. Let's see. The Saint Brunard. Nice name, by the way. I love the name. Thank you so much for these reels. Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure, and it's my obsession. I will not stop making these anytime soon. I'm glad you're enjoying them. So let's play with a few more options here. Now that I'm kind of caught up on big handiwork. Unable to do the same. So okay, Reels by Mukul asks, unable to do the same work like you, trying to do this with the images of Shiva because we are running a festival for a month in India and I want to learn it from you. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I hope that I'm offering something valuable then to that end. That sounds awesome though. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me afterwards. Oh, are you asking those specifically if I can make something like that on stream? If you can do that, very helpful. I can certainly play with the theme or the imagery of Shiva. After you do this live, will you accept my message? Through. Oh yeah, for sure. Heart cooking. Just connect with me in my DMs and we can chat afterwards. Cloud GPU A. No, this is I'm not using a cloud GPU right now. I was in the beginning. This question's from Ni Koalo, by the way. When I first got started with Comfy and learning all about it, I was using a cloud machine. I was using a service called Think Diffusion, thinkdiffusion.com. And if you're just starting out, you can't afford a new rig or just don't want to invest in one right now, this is a really good place. And there's other variants of this online, but this is just the one that I used. It's called Think Diffusion, and they offer cloud computers that you can just rent, I think, by the hour. And you can pay based on what you pay. You can, have a more powerful setup or a less powerful one, and you can just deploy Comfy UI in the cloud pretty easily right out the box. And yeah, they don't just have Comfy. They have like Automatic 1111, Focus, however you say it, different alternatives. But for me personally, Comfy is all that I use. The website for workflows is called, well, the one that I just showed for JBoog is Civitai, CIVITAI.com. Like, yeah, Civitai. You can find a lot of workflows on here. You can find a lot of models. Basically, like everything I've got, like all the models that I've downloaded, all the LoRa's pretty much have come from this website. This is like the main place for open source AI on the web, as far as I'm concerned. Awesome, man. This is Sick Bro. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're getting value out of this. Max, hi. Hello. How are you? Okay, let's you know what? Let's play with the whole Shiva thing. I mean, I don't know exactly what you're looking to make, my friend, but I'll just play with the imagery, the idea of it. Let's should we morph it into? No, I think I'll just stick with the workflow that I'm already in. So, Bradward, thank you so much. You're so welcome. My pleasure. Okay, so let's paste this in. And I'm going to paste 2 Shivas into the 2 out of the 4 image inputs. And what that's really going to do is just add more emphasis to this image in contrast to the other 2. And you know what? For the other 2, I think I'll just leave it as is. I think this is an interesting combination. Let's see what happens. And even to guide it further, I'm just going to type in the positive prompt. I'm going to type Shiva just so it knows it. Like sometimes that can better help guide the AI as it's making your video. It isn't like required if you're using IP adapter. Typically, the IP adapter will do all of the essential stuff to capture the look that you want to go for. But it can help, especially if you're going for a really specific design. It can help to type in a prompt in addition. Just helps the AI ever so slightly. But let's paste in a different video reference instead of the one we're using. It's not my favorite. But I will use one that is a favorite of mine, and that is this one. This will be cool. Check that one out, you guys. This will be fun. Okay, how many frames is that? 30, that's 120 frames. That's fine. And I'm going to leave the control nets on, the ones that I'm using for the last generation. I'm going to use them again for this one because I think the depth map control net is going to be perfect for this since it's already a depth map. It's going to fit right in. So let's run this and see what we get. Yes, let's do it. The Betsy White, hey bud, hope all is well. Great, have a great week. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good week as well. Nice to see you. What is this tool? Says J Jazz. This is called Comfy UI. Comfy UI. Where was generate? What? I don't understand the question. You might have to rephrase. Let's see. Thanks again for the knowledge. I need to go by. Good to see you, Bellis. Take care. Anytime. J Jazz, the tool is called Comfy UI, as in user interface. This is how it's spelled right here. See, Comfy UI. And it's an open source tool that you can download for free. It's available on GitHub. If you just Google Comfy UI, it should be the first link. or rather download Comfy UI. Try that. First link should be a GitHub link. It will take you over to the GitHub page. And if you scroll down just a few clicks, you will find installing Comfy UI. You'll click that, take you down further to a link that says direct link to download. You'll want to click that, and then from there you'll want to extract it wherever. I think this is the portable version. There is a portable standalone. Oh, this is not the portable version, but there is one on okay, this page here. I'm personally using the portable version, but you can also install it. There's multiple ways to deploy it. So let's see where we're at with this. Are we almost finished? We are almost finished. Okay, we're about 45 seconds away from the video finishing. All right, let me take a quick break while this is rendering just to take a couple bites of food here. Just eating some steak and eggs, just over here on the side. All right, I'm back. So, this first one's okay. It's decent, but I've gone ahead and run another render just to play with it some more. I lowered the control net weight from, I think it was at like 0.7 or 0.8 all the way down to 0.4. And what that's going to do is it's going to de-emphasize the actual motion and contours of our video, and it's going to allow the images to shine through a little bit better. And in a couple minutes, you're going to see the result of that. Is it possible with your face? My answer would be possibly. Kalina, hello, hi, how are you? Carl to Music World. My answer is possibly, and the reason is because I've had mixed results with custom faces. Sometimes it looks really cool and accurate. Other times it isn't quite the face that you're looking for, but that is mainly due to the unpredictable qualities of AI. There are a lot of new and emerging like tools that will address facial stuff, but like as far as specifically the videos that I make, like my specific style, the morphing and whatnot, getting like a specific face on it is definitely not a walk in the park, but it can be done to varying levels of success. I think I'll just park it there. But if you want to talk more about it and maybe explore that possibility, just hit me up in the DM and we can kind of explore that together. But yeah. All right, so perfect. Well, perfect enough. You know what? It might flag that for nudity. I don't know. I mean, I think, is Shiva a male? Please don't be offended if I'm wrong. But this image to me looks like it's a male Shiva. The video, however, looks like it might be female, and I don't know if Instagram's going to get annoyed by that, but I don't think it will. But I think it'll do. Basically, I just kind of want to show a side by side. The one on the left is control net at 0.8. One on the right is control net at 0.4. and you can kind of hopefully see the difference, the big difference, as far as how much it emphasizes the video input. All the open tabs are stressing me out. Yeah, welcome to my ADHD riddled mind. Mail, okay, good to know. I apologize for my ignorance. YouTube channel, yes. My YouTube channel is AI is Cursed. That's primarily where I put all my AI related stuff. youtube.com/AI is Cursed, all one word, all lowercase. And you should find me right here. You'll also find my lives, including this one, should be backed up here on this page just automatically, because I am currently streaming on YouTube as well as Instagram. But besides the lives, I have other fun stuff here, like short horror stories and other fun things. So I would highly encourage you to check out this page, which is still growing, still in its infancy. All right, let's head back over to Comfy. Is it possible to keep something untouched like a brand logo and morph around? Well, my answer would be probably yes. I've definitely animated logos, and like even just playing around with like NVIDIA's logo and Apple's logo. I have workflows that are really good for that, and I have Pers to thank for that mainly. He's put out some really good walkthroughs on that kind of approach. But I've definitely done logos, and they're pretty much like, what am I trying to say here? The stability is preserved of the logo, like it's like the integrity that makes it the iconic logo that it is, like that is preserved in this workflow, while also kind of like morphing the surfaces of it, making it like a fire element, whatever you want to do with it. But I think that's all just to say that yes, it's possible. Oh, look, another tab, lol. Yeah, I know. Who I mentioned doing stuff like that. Pers, P-U-R-Z is his name. And I think it was about a month or so ago, a month and a half, where he gave a live stream with Civitai on their Twitch channel. He gave a walkthrough of how to set up the logo workflow, or the workflow that was really good for logos specifically. I don't have it handy at the moment. You'd have to like look back in Civitai's catalog of live streams. Look for back when Pers was on. It was between 1 and 2 months ago. You should be able to find it. Yes, the second one that you just typed, P-U-R-Z, Pers. In fact, it might still be on YouTube. I'm happy to just kind of look real quick. P-U-R-Z, Civitai logo. Maybe that will help. Okay, yeah, I think I found it. All I searched for on YouTube was Pers Civitai logo, and it's this first result here with like this anime sumo wrestler looking guy right here. This is the video to look for. Make insane AI logo animations using masks. It's an amazing video, you guys. Highly recommended. And yeah, like kind of like this is what you can expect to make inside of it. This is just a little glimpse into the video, but I mean, take a look at that. Look how sick that is. And it gets even sicker as he keeps playing with it. Highly recommended. Ruben, you are so welcome. Absolutely. All right, so let's play a little bit more with this. Let's do 0.6. Actually, let's go to one of my more recent workflows to play with. Let's do this. Okay. So hello, friend. Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you. How are you doing? So now we're just going to do some like some basic like morphing between 4 images, kind of like what you see right here, which is the video I uploaded this morning. This is a morph that takes place between 4 input images, which are the ones that you see right here. And we're just going to have some fun with this. Let's see how much time I've left on the clock just to make sure I'm on schedule. Okay, so we're about 56 minutes in, you guys. I'm going to go for a little over an hour. So I'd say maybe 5 more minutes. 10 at the most, and then we're gonna call it there. But I've loved having you. Buy me a Tesla. Buy me a Tesla, please. I want a Tesla. Okay, so let's toss some images into here, shall we? Let's see what we can play with. Let's start with the mantis head. Let's do some insect stuff. Insects are always fun. Insect/aliens. Insect to alien. That sort of deal. Okay. Or maybe for the last two, I'll do like skulls. Or zombies. Let's just do zombies. Insects to zombies. Okay. Let's try that out. All right, let's try it. And change up the music too. Yo, Caribou, how's it going? So if you guys have any other questions about what I'm doing, AI videos, AI images, AI creativity in general, please do let me know. I'll do my best to answer you. Right now, what you're looking at is probably my favorite workflow at the moment. It's a morphing workflow, and it takes 4 input images, as you see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and goes from left to right as far as the timeline of it, and spits out a 5 to 10 second long video. Usually about 8 seconds is kind of where it's at with my settings, but by the time this finishes, it will look something like this, except instead of being dogs and stuff, it's going to be insects and zombies. So that should be a lot of fun. And here's another one that I made a few weeks back. Pretty cool. Pretty fun. Yo. Yo. All right. And I was going to play with Runway's new image to video feature today on stream, but I think I'll have to save that for the next one. Kind of went over a little bit today. But if you subscribe to Runway or play with it at all, I would encourage you to check out Runway's new feature that they launched today. This is kind of a glimpse at what it looks like behind the curtains. It's image to video. So now you can just plop in a video and then prompt it and generate from there. And this is for their Gen 3 model, to be clear. Caribou Jimmy, what's the program? The program is called Comfy UI, the program that I'm currently in, the open source. It's an open source program called Comfy UI. How complicated is the stuff we see on your screen? It depends. To me, it's no longer complicated, but to a newcomer, I think fundamentally it's not that complicated, but it can be a lot to look at first glance. I mean, seeing all these wires and nodes everywhere at a distance is quite intimidating. At least it was for me in the beginning. But if you really stick with it and learn about what the nodes actually do and what their relationships are, it very quickly starts to demystify and make more sense. And I would say just stick with it. Is it hard or just look alike? It's definitely not a beginner's type of thing. Maybe like intermediate level difficulty. Then again, it's hard for me to speak on it because I have a background in like programming and computer stuff, web development. So I'm kind of coming from that world. I guess it would depend on your level of technical proficiency. But I would encourage you to check out Pers on YouTube for now. If you want to like learn how to really get started with comfy. And try and follow along and see if it's too difficult for you or if you can follow it. You'll never know until you try, after all. Okay, so we have our morphing video, which is actually gnarly. I think it's pretty cool, you guys. Pretty freaking cool. So as you can maybe tell, it starts with that praying mantis, goes to the alien, and then we got our zombies to close it out. And this is a really low resolution version, keep in mind. It's only 12 frames a second. It's only like 500 pixels across. But if I wanted to, I could upscale the heck out of this, make it 4K, give it 60 frames a second. I could do a lot more with this. This is just like the initial generation. Spunions, you are so welcome. My pleasure. I love to do it. How are the prompts that you use in the image generation IA? How are the prompts? Are you asking how I'm prompting this, or like what I'm writing for my prompts? Because this specific workflow is not really, it's not really prompt based in the sense of typing out like words. It's more so taking images as your prompt. It uses something called IP adapter to basically scan your images and like write its own prompt based off of that. Like it's pretty like intelligent at being able to describe like, oh, this is like an insect face, like a praying mantis. This is like a weird alien thing. This is a zombie. And it basically takes that data and then builds your video with it. That being said, I have gotten more into the habit of also text prompting it in conjunction with the images, because I find that that really helps further guide the AI to really make exactly what you want it to make. And sometimes you can get dramatically better results if you just type a prompt in addition to the images, but it is not required, is the important takeaway. Real quick though, I think I'm going to type a text prompt for this one that's relevant and just compare the results. Okay. Insect face morphing into an alien morphing into a zombie morphing into a zombie, and a zombie morphing back into an insect. Back into an insect. And let's see what that gets us. It might be even better. Let's find out. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison here. And after this render, you guys, I am going to have to wrap it up. But this has been a lot of fun, and I hope I've answered a lot of your questions. Can I talk a little bit about my sampler settings? Sure. Well, it can kind of vary. For this particular workflow and for this approach, I'm using DPM PP _2M. Admittedly, there's a lot I still don't fully understand about sampler settings or samplers to choose from, like Euler Ancestral. I know the typical rotation that people tend to use the most, which is like Euler Ancestral and then DPM PP2, the one I'm using now. But then the other one that I use quite commonly is LCM. Right down here, you'll see LCM. But this is not an LCM workflow right now, and so I don't have that selected. But LCM is basically like a more rapid way of generating things than in previous paradigms, I guess you could say. I don't know. I need to learn a little bit more about sampling, to be honest with you. But you're welcome to look at like my screen and kind of like take note of like the settings that I'm using here for my K sampler. But it's all kind of in context, right? Like this isn't just like in a vacuum. Like this has a relationship to like everything else going on in the workflow right now, and plays off of that. So Dave, James, do I do these lives often? Yeah, I'm trying to do it at least 5 days a week. In two different well, more than that. So I'd say like around 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will do these that you're seeing now on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm doing like a simulcast. And then later on tonight, around like 10 or 11 p.m., I've been doing TikTok lives over on my TikTok at AI is cursed. That's my user handle. And it's pretty similar to what you see here, but just for a different audience, different time zone. But yeah, Monday through Friday, you can find me either here or on my my TikTok. And okay, I think the generation's finished. Okay. Interesting. So there's some subtle differences here, but notable ones. So the one on the left that you're seeing, it'll make more sense if I put it on the right. So, okay. So the one on the left is our before. The one on the right is our after. The new one that just finished 10 seconds ago. The one on the right has been assisted with a text prompt that specifically defines what I was going for, like insect to alien to zombie, zombie. Whereas the one on the left did not have that support. And you can kind of compare and contrast, like, to my eyes at least, I can already see some pretty striking differences between them, especially when the zombie comes onto the screen. It's like a more well-defined zombie. And I really attribute that to the fact that I gave it a text prompt to adhere to. So I would highly encourage you not to neglect the text prompting capabilities of Comfy. It can be really tempting to just like throw a couple images in and hit Q prompt and go to town and just ignore the text prompt. But really, if you want the most accurate results, like definitely get creative with that as well. All right, folks. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it here. I've had a lot of fun, as I always do. I hope you did as well. Hope you learned something. And I should be back tomorrow around 1 p.m., 1:30 Pacific time. I should have a more stable schedule in place soon, but right now I'm kind of just aiming for anywhere between 12 and 1, sometimes even 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So keep an eye out for me around those, I guess, time blocks. And if I have any more solid of a schedule in the future, I'll certainly let you know. I'll broadcast it. But with all that being said, folks, I'm going to park it here. And I love you all very much. And I will speak with you soon. All right. Take it easy. Peace.